unexamined life is not worth living. He who has a why can endure almost anyhow. You have power over your mind, not outside events. The wound is where the light enters. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Man is condemned to be free. No one steps in the same river twice. What we think, we become. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. The only true wisdom is knowing you know nothing. Freedom is what you do with what has been done to you. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Life must be understood backward, but lived forward. To live is to suffer. To survive is to find meaning. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. The obstacle is the way. Act only according to what you would will as universal law. Become who you are. This too shall pass. Knowing yourself is the beginning of wisdom. The only constant is change. Silence is a source of great strength. We are what we repeatedly do. Where there is no struggle, there is no strength. The mind is its own place. All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in overcoming it. The journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath your feet. He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a living man. To know what you know and what you do not know is true knowledge. Our life is what our thoughts make it. No man is free who is not master of himself. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. The more you know, the more you realize you do not know. He who opens a school door closes a prison. Time is a created thing. To say I don't have time is to say I don't want to. Waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Be one. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor strengthens the body. He who is brave is free. All cruelty springs from weakness. We become what we contemplate. The best revenge is to be unlike the one who performed the injustice. A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about but thoughts. What lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. It is not length of life, but depth of life. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. He who looks outside dreams. He who looks inside awakens. He who looks outside dreams. He who looks inside awakens. We do not see things as they are. We see them as we are. The meaning of life is to give life meaning. He who cannot obey himself will be commanded. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. It is the mark of an educated mind to entertain a thought without accepting it. No man ever listened himself out of a job. The greater part of our happiness depends on our dispositions. Between stimulus and response there is a space. The function of wisdom is to discriminate between good and evil. A ship is safe in harbor, but that is not what ships are built for. We are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened. There is nothing permanent except change. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. The only journey is the one within. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. The mind that is stretched by a new experience can never go back to its old dimensions. What you seek is seeking you. He who has learned to die has unlearned slavery. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The aim of life is self-development. The highest activity a human being can attain is learning for understanding. A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. The energy of the mind is the essence of life. No one saves us but ourselves. What you resist persists. He who fears he will suffer already suffers because he fears. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. We are too weak to discover the truth by reason alone. Time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. All that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good people do nothing. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Happiness is not an ideal of reason, but of imagination. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. He who has peace of mind disturbs neither himself nor another. Do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the wise, seek what they sought. The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. One cannot step twice into the same river. The only thing I know is that I know nothing. What we achieve inwardly will change outer reality. The superior person is modest in speech but exceeds in action. To understand everything is to forgive everything. Our doubts are traitors. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle.
limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today. He who has patience can have what he will. To be aware of a single shortcoming in oneself is more useful than to be aware of 1,000 in others. Nothing will work unless you do. The root of suffering is attachment. Great acts are made up of small deeds. Adversity reveals genius, prosperity conceals it. He who is contented is rich. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. A calm mind brings inner strength. The more laws, the less justice. There is no path to peace. Peace is the path. Fortune favors the bold. Knowing others is strength. Knowing yourself is true power. Every strength is also a weakness. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Energy flows where attention goes. What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say. No pressure, no diamond. He who hesitates is lost. The beginning is the most important part of the work. A wise person speaks because they have something to say. A fool because they have to say something. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Truth is powerful and it prevails. What consumes your mind controls your life. A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. There are no facts, only interpretations. The strongest people are those who win battles we know nothing about. A disciplined mind brings happiness. He who plants a tree plants hope. The secret of happiness is freedom. The secret of freedom is courage. The soul always knows what to do to heal itself. To conquer fear is the beginning of wisdom. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. Better to light a candle than curse the darkness. When you realize nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you. The present moment is the only time over which we have dominion. He who has imagination without learning has wings without feet. We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. A person is but the product of their thoughts. Small steps every day. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. In seeking wisdom, the first step is silence. Nothing is softer or more flexible than water, yet nothing can resist it. If you wish to move mountains tomorrow, you must start by lifting stones today. A mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. Fear is temporary. Regret is forever. You become what you give your attention to. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it.
He who has nothing to die for has nothing to live for. The wise adapt themselves to circumstances. Better to be wise by the misfortunes of others than by your own. A life without cause is a life without effect. It is not enough to win a war. It is more important to organize the peace. The best way out is always through. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. Doubt is the origin of wisdom. He who angers you conquers you. What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. The price of greatness is responsibility. Liberty lies in being bold. We must become the change we wish to see. The greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinions. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Experience is not what happens to you. It is what you do with what happens to you. If you wish to improve, be content to appear foolish. There is no greater sorrow than to recall happiness in times of misery. The measure of a person is what they do with power. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. The aim of argument is not victory, but progress. It is better to conquer yourself than to win 1,000 battles. The smallest deed is better than the greatest intention. Poverty of mind is worse than poverty of purse. Character is destiny. One today is worth 2 tomorrows. We are twice armed if we fight with faith. The strongest reason for people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is, as a last resort, to protect themselves against tyranny. The art of being wise is knowing what to overlook. To find yourself, think for yourself. What is necessary is never unwise. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. He who knows that enough is enough will always have enough. Do what you can with what you have where you are. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing. The only true failure is the failure to try. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. Where wisdom reigns, there is no conflict between thinking and feeling. There is nothing noble in being superior to another. True nobility is being superior to your former self. The best thinking has been done in solitude. An ounce of action is worth a ton of theory. Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood. Wisdom begins in wonder. He who would learn to fly one day must first learn to stand and walk. All generalizations are false, including this one. The journey itself is home. If you do not change direction, you may end up where you are heading. True strength is keeping everything together when everyone expects you to fall apart. The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer. greatest wealth is wisdom. He who learns but does not think is lost. The mind grows by what it feeds on. A person is not wise because they talk much. The highest good is like water. If you want to be strong, learn to stand alone. Time discovers truth. The greatest victory is that which requires no battle. He who seeks shall find. Justice delayed is justice denied. No one knows everything. Wisdom outweighs any wealth. The best mirror is an old friend. What is done in love is done well. Hope is the dream of a waking soul. The first step toward change is awareness. Nothing endures but change. He who talks more is sooner exhausted. An examined mind is a liberated mind. Where there is humility, there is greatness. Knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. What lies within us matters more than what lies before us. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. He who is faithful in small things is faithful in great ones. A single conversation with a wise person is worth months of study. The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. Without reflection, we go blindly on our way. Truth is rarely pure and never simple. The mind is everything what you think you become. Every moment is a fresh beginning. The harder the conflict, the greater the triumph. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. The brave may not live forever, but the cautious do not live at all. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. You cannot cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. The energy you give is the energy you receive. To know oneself is to study oneself in action with another person. A disciplined life leads to freedom. The more you give, the more you receive. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. A person who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. Where focus goes, energy flows. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. The only way to deal with fear is to face it. If you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. A clear conscience is a soft pillow. Growth begins at the end of your comfort zone. Strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from indomitable will. The future depends on what you do today. happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. He who lives in fear will never be free. A wise person changes their mind. A fool never will. To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. Silence is better than unmeaning words. What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. A person who conquers anger conquers themselves. The best teacher is experience. He who has health has hope. Nothing strengthens authority so much as silence. Self-knowledge is the beginning of self-improvement. The greatest test of courage is to bear defeat without losing heart. A journey is best measured in friends rather than miles. True freedom is mastery of self. To think is easy. To act is difficult. The mind is like water. When calm, it reflects clearly. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken adults. The more one judges, the less one loves. Knowledge without action is useless. Great works are performed not by strength, but by perseverance. He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty. A clear mind brings clarity to life. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. The roots of true achievement lie in will. One who masters patience masters everything. The most courageous act is still to think for yourself. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. The greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it. The wise speak only of what they know. A disciplined mind leads to happiness. The more you reflect, the wiser you become. Nothing is more powerful than a made-up mind. To understand is to perceive patterns. He who has learned to listen has learned much. Peace begins with a smile. A strong mind can endure hardship. The key to growth is self-awareness. Without courage, wisdom bears no fruit. A person becomes what they repeatedly practice. The art of living well is the art of learning well. Small daily improvements create remarkable results. He who does not value time does not value life. A thoughtful mind is a powerful mind. To forgive is to free yourself. Consistency builds character. True wealth is measured by inner peace. Wisdom grows in stillness. Strength of mind is exercise, not gift. Awareness precedes transformation. Calm is a superpower.